What's up guys? This video is going to be on Sofi Technologies, ticker symbol SOFI. I don't usually talk about Sofi. There's literally so much Sofi content on YouTube, on X, on everything. Like every single point there is to mention, to even talk about Sofi has been regurgitated like 625 million times. Bonus points if you know where that number comes from. But there's literally one thing that I noticed that no one's really talking about. That, I mean, maybe I'm just looking at it incorrectly. You can please let me know in the comments. But it's always been a constant, right? Everyone keeps asking for two things. When is Sofi going to have SMB banking? Oh, SMB banking this, SMB banking that. Sofi's going to be great once they have SMB banking. And two, Sofi's going to go up as soon as they get options trading. Listen, I don't think so. Dude, I swear, just my luck, Sofi is going to implement options trading and or SMB banking as soon as I post this, just to prove, like, shove it in my face to say that I'm wrong. This happens all the time. That'd be embarrassing. But hey, this is my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong the next day. Who knows? I'm sticking to my opinion that I believe that Sofi is not going to implement SMB banking or options trading in the near term's future, right? With, like, in the next quarter, I don't think that Sofi is going to have SMB banking. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that Sofi already has a strategy of how to implement it. They already have the code, they have the functionality, they have the technology of implementing SMB banking and options trading. Like, that shouldn't be that hard to implement, right? A lot of, like, some of it's just more like, what rate are you going to give them, right? It's not that difficult. So why won't they implement it then? So there's a few reasons, right? The first and most obvious of my reasons, Sofi is still predicting a recession coming soon. Would you start lending to small and medium-sized businesses when you know that a recession, or when you believe that a recession is coming up soon? You wouldn't do that. Think about it. You're smart. You invested in Sofi. You have to have something up there, right? Use your noodle. Now you're probably thinking, oh, well, I mean, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. If they don't do SMB banking, they don't do small and medium-sized banking. Let's do big business banking. They could just be more picky. They could just do big business banking. They could do BBB. BBB. Again, wrong. All banks want to do BBB. All banks want to do big business banking. Big businesses have a lot of money. They get good rates wherever they go, right? It's a volume game at that point. All banks are willing to take a cut in the margin in order to get much more volume, right? In order to get a lot more money. Because first of all, they know that that business is probably low risk because it's a big business, right? And they have a lot more money, a lot more volume, a lot more transactions. They can lend to a lot more people, right? If they have a lot of money on hand. If you have a big enough business that's doing enough revenue, you can go to Wells Fargo and get a good loan. You can get a good interest rate. You can get good terms. And Wells Fargo is high-key a scam. And that brings me to my next point. Sofi. What does Sofi stand for? Social financing, right? Or social finance. Sofi's main goal is basically establishing like a social relationship, right? Or even like a parasocial relationship, I guess, with their users. Right? Think about what their marketing is, right? The basketball games, right? TikTok, football stadium, right? All those things where like people have like a lot of memories, right? Where like, oh, you experience something and you kind of have that memory ingrained in your mind, right? You want to be part of like, oh, I remember when I went to see the Taylor Swift concert. You see it all over the NBA. You see it in TikTok. You see it in football, right? I'm sure you all know banks have a really high interest in them being the first bank that you pick, right? And you opening your very first checking account or your very first savings account, your very first credit card with this bank, right? Because they know that those relationships stick, right? Even if they're a crappy bank, if you're the first bank that you're banking with, right, odds are you'll stick with them, right? How many of you still have Wells Fargo accounts? I'm sure a lot of you. You know how crappy that bank is? Get the fuck out of there instantly. That place is trash. But that relationship only works with personal banking, right? Business banking is different. Business banking, you don't care about like your relationship with your bank. It's whoever has the best terms, whoever is giving you the best interest, whoever gives you the best benefits, right? That's where the businesses are going, right? They're not going to, oh, this was I have fond memories of this bank. They don't do that. That's for personal banking, not SMB banking, not business banking. And because of that, because we all know that like business banking is kind of just like give them as good terms as possible just because you want to have their business, then honestly, it's kind of just a race to the bottom, right? You're sacrificing your margin for volume. That's basically what it is. Which again brings me to my next point. Who is Sofi's main target demographic? What is their main audience? In my opinion, their main audience is the Henrys of the world, right? The high earners, not rich yet. Those people, right? They're targeting the people that have enough funds to go to basketball games, go to football games, but they are not rich enough to be offered it for free, right? They're targeting the people that are taking Ubers, have money to take Ubers, to have money to DoorDash, to have money for Uber Eats, but aren't rich enough to have their own private chauffeur or their own private chef. And you can kind of see how they're targeting it just based off of like their actions, right? What they're doing, what they're offering, right? Like for example, that 4.6% interest rate, that really high interest, they're doing it for people that are still working, right? You have to have a ACH, you have to have like consistent monthly income into your SoFi account in order to maintain this 4.6%. Which, now a tangent, how they're doing this direct deposit, how you're only getting 4.6% if you have an ACH direct deposit, like monthly, like reoccurring direct deposit, and or like enough funds to go into your SoFi account with the various restrictions. Them setting up their interest rate like this really, in my opinion, like makes it clear that they really are preparing for a possible recession coming up soon. So here's an example, right? So let's say, so there's that 4.6%, right? That's a lot of money, right? SoFi is paying a lot of money. That's basically their COGS, right? Their cost of goods sold, right? Because in order to sell a loan, they have to borrow money from someone, right? And they're borrowing it from those direct deposits. They have to pay that 4.6% to those people. And that's an expensive, like that's pretty costly on the money, right? That's a lot more expensive than like 1%, 2%. So what happens if a recession hits, right? Are they screwed? Is SoFi screwed? Well, no, right? They prepared for that. Maybe SoFi is correct. And then a recession does hit, right? Well, now they have all these loans and they have to pay a bunch of people suddenly lost all their jobs, but they had to pay 4.6% interest because they're just keeping their money in there. Guess what? Risk management, risk mitigation. They don't have to. That 4.6% drops down to 1.5% or something like that. I forget the specific number. This is exactly why that sweet interest rate is dependent on you having a direct deposit, right? They want to focus on the people that are still working, that are focusing on working, than the people that are just like, I don't know, just dicking around and like playing with options or whatever. By dropping their 4.6% to 1.5% or whatever, right? Basically their COGS, or their cost of goods sold, dropped by 70%, right? So they're kind of like softening the blow for if a recession does hit, then they don't have to worry too much. Again, this is all speculation, right? This is just what I think. So like I could be 100% just dead wrong, but what you gonna do, right? This is just prediction. Now the cool thing about when they drop this percentage, right? One, they don't have to pay as much money on the money that they have. Again, I keep saying their COGS has dropped, right? So the bottom line, they improved their bottom line. But two, you're also motivating those people to find a job again, right? You can probably assume that people want free money, right? They want that extra 3%. So, I mean, you're more motivated as a customer of SoFi. You're more motivated, oh, I better find a job that has like constant income, or else I'll lose that 4.6%, right? You don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose all those benefits, right? So you're at the same time as mitigating your risk, right? You're also motivating your customers so that you do have that steady stream, right? So that even if like a recession does hit, they'll settle for a lower paying job rather than just looking endlessly, right? Rather than just being on unemployment forever. But like, imagine implementing that type of system for a business bank. I don't even know how you would do that. Would it be like revenue? But then like, you can always like shift numbers around. Like it's always really easy to manipulate balance sheets and things like that for businesses, right? So like you wouldn't even really be able to do that. You can inflate income, you can deflate income, right? It's just hard to manage, right? Whereas like with personal banking, ACH or not, right? That's basically it. So the main demographic is Henrys, right? People that are working, high earners, not rich yet. If their main demographic is Henrys, when are Henrys working, right? They're working 9 to 5, Monday through Friday most of the time, right? When is the market open? Between those times, right? So if the person, do they want to attract people that are just spending their entire time just looking at the markets? No, right? They want the Henrys. They don't want the Wall Street bet degens. Yeah, there's a subset of people that can do both, but like think about like the overall, like think about what most people do, right? Most people don't spend their time trading options. Most people don't spend their time just staring at markets, right? They have a job to do and they have like money to get, right? They have to earn money. Okay, so I guess I understand all that, but does that mean just SoFi's just never going to have SMB banking? Are they just never going to have options trading? This is what I believe. SoFi knows that there's lower margins in SMB banking. Well, I think, and like, let me know if what your opinion is. This is what I think. Number one, SoFi wants to confirm that there isn't going to be a recession and prepare for a recession if it does hit. Remember, SoFi predicted 5 rate cuts, right? Because they assumed there'd be a recession, right? They're preparing for a recession, right? Like 5 rate cuts don't come out of nowhere in 1 year if it weren't for a recession. This was back when the market was assuming 3 rate cuts, if I remember correctly. They're not going to give shady or like up and coming new small and medium sized business banking until they can be reasonably assured that the economy is not going to hit a fan. They're not going to give out loans or give out like banking things, stuff to SMB banking to small and medium-sized banks until they can be like 100% sure that the economy is not going to hit the fan and all these small businesses are just going to like flush down the drain. And two, when interest rates do fall, right, when they do start cutting back, the interest rates that all these people are getting at other banks, other like all these CDs, right, they're also going to fall. So this means that basically other banks will have to lower the rates as well, right? SoFi, because they have lower overhead, right, they have less employees, less office spaces, right, no crappy like 300 score credit score loans, right? Because of this lower overhead, SoFi can basically just come in and swoop when all the other banks are forced to lower their rates down. SoFi can maintain a slightly higher interest rate or a slightly highly like just better benefits overall to these businesses, right? In other words, SoFi could save their energy on a like a marathon, right? SoFi could save their energy and start sprinting when we're going uphill, whereas everyone else is too tired going uphill, right? Basically, they're saving their energy so that they can just sprint up and just like overpass everyone in like one short spurt. That's what I think. I guess just to reiterate, SoFi, in my opinion, isn't going to do SMB banking anytime soon until those last 2 points that I brought up, just until they can be reassured that the economy is not going to hit the fan. And I don't think they're going to have options trading soon either. Like they obviously like that's just like the cherry on top. They can do that whenever, right? It's just like I'm sure they can implement that really soon, right? It shouldn't be that difficult. They already have stock trading. It's not that much different. Just add a value of time. That I don't know. If you want to hear a really tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, what if SoFi, right? They're selling banking as a service. They don't want to compete with the banks that they're selling banking as a service to with, right? So lure them in, tell them, oh, you're getting all this extra business banking, you're getting all these extra clients using our product. And then once they use all their products, once they become established customers, once they rely on the sweet Galileo, then you open business banking, offer a better product, offer a better mousetrap, and then just steal the customers back. But that's just a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Tinfoil hat off. I could be dead wrong, right? I don't know. This is what I think. And yeah, this is just a random talk on SoFi. I don't usually do this on this channel. I usually talk about other stocks, but SoFi is legit my biggest position. It's just I found that everyone else keeps talking about it. So there's no real point for me to talk about it. Right? I'm just going to be regurgitating the facts, but no one's been talking about this. So I wanted to mention that out and just put this out there. But yeah, have a good day.